Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kenneth Scott, Secretary for the Valley of Boston, and I have the distinct privilege of just welcoming you to this 178th installation of the Valley of Boston. This is the first in the Valley that it's a virtual installation due to the national situation, and it's a privilege to welcome you here on behalf of Boston Lafayette Lodge Perfection, Giles F. Yates Council, Princess of Jerusalem, and Mount Olivet Chapter of Rose Croix. We're very fortunate today to have the installation under the guidance of our illustrious deputy for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I will now turn it over to illustrious Donald M. Moran, 33rd degree, deputy for Massachusetts. Welcome, illustrious brother.
Thank you, illustrious brother Scott. Great to be with all of you today. Good afternoon, brethren, ladies, and guests. It's a pleasure to be with you on this special occasion and to install the offices of the Valley of Boston, although admittedly under very unusual circumstances. Normally we would have 300 or more attendees with us at the Grand Lodge building in Boston for a gala celebration to welcome our officers into their new positions, but during this difficult time in history, we're required to find new ways to conduct some of our fraternal operations. We hope the technology works for us today. And I give special thanks to Brother Peter C. Grimm, 32nd degree, the incoming Deputy Master for Boston Lafayette Lodge of Perfection, for coordinating today's Zoom event. Also, illustrious Kenneth John Scott, 33rd degree, the Valley Secretary, and Brother William H.R. Blake, 32nd degree from the Valley office, for promoting and planning this program today. I look forward to the time when we get back to normal and I have the opportunity to greet all of you in person and offer proper congratulations to these incoming Valley officers. As you know, it is the tradition in Freemasonry to not enter upon any greater important undertaking without first invoking the blessing of deity. So I would ask that you would all be in the attitude of prayer. Almighty God, Grand Architect of the universe and Father of us all, we thank you for this glorious spring day and for this opportunity to meet together as friends and brothers. Bless these our brethren who have been called to leadership. Strengthen them, we beseech thee, for the tasks that await them. Grant them the wisdom and ability to effectively lead this valley, not only during this global pandemic, but into the future. We ask that you watch over the men and women in uniform serving our nation wherever dispersed across the globe, our healthcare workers, first responders, and all those essential personnel placing their lives in danger every day for our benefit. Inspire us to find the light in the darkness so we can emerge from this difficult time a better society and a stronger nation. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
To the glory of the Grand Architect of the universe, in the name and under the auspices of the Supreme Council, of Sovereign Grand Inspectors General, of the 33rd and last degree, of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry for the Northern Masonic jurisdiction of the United States of America, and by virtue of the authority upon me conferred, I declare the works of Boston Lafayette Lodge of Perfection, Giles Fonda Yates Council, Princes of Jerusalem, and Mount Olivet Chapter of Rose Croix open in joint session for the installation of officers. If you would all please join me in a pledge of allegiance to our country's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Brethren and ladies, we have the distinct privilege of having the Grand Master of Masons in Massachusetts with us today, and I am honored to introduce him to you, Most Worshipful Richard Maggio. Grand Master.
Good afternoon, brethren and ladies. I looked so forward to the installation today. However, I never thought I'd be sitting alone in my office, staring at a computer screen in full regalia. However, the work of the craft must go on. So let's see how this goes, and I will make my final remarks prior to closing. Let's carry on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grand Master. We appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be with us today. Before we proceed with the installation, I feel that it is appropriate to recognize our two retiring heads of bodies. These brethren have served the Valley for literally decades, working their way up through the line, and they are now completing a three one-year terms as the thrice potent master of Boston Lafayette Lodge of Perfection and the most wise master of Mount Olivet chapter of Rosecroy. I'm honored to introduce to you for remarks for the last time as thrice potent master, illustrious, Austin Robert Ryan, 33rd degree.
Thank you, illustrious deputy. I'd just like to say that it's been a great honor and privilege to serve the Valley of Boston and the Lodge of Perfection as a thrice potent master over the last 3 years. The years have gone by much faster than I ever thought they would have, but I guess the sands of time run quicker, as we all know. Before I express my thanks to the various other people, I'd like to say that I want to thank my wife, Jan, who has been beside me through my many, many years in the Lodge of Perfection and has worked tirelessly at my side to help make our impact and make everything successful. I want to say how much I appreciate the work that the other presiding officers that I have served with over the last 3 years has been appreciated, and how much I admire the work that they have done in helping the Valley move forward. We've had some committees of the Membership Advancement Committee with Kamal Usayef and the Family Life Committee with Wally Hawkins. They've both done terrific jobs in their respective areas, and they've really helped make the Valley move forward in a great positive way. And obviously, a leader can't be successful if the officers and other members of the organization are not all pulling in the same direction. And to all of the members and the officers, the past TPMs who gave counsel, I want to give them a shout out as well and thank them very much for everything that they've done for me. Last but not least, I want to thank the Valley Secretary and Treasurer, the office staff in Boston, who has always responded whenever we had a need to get something done. And sometimes it didn't happen as quickly as we might have liked, but it always happened efficiently and precisely. So thank you again. And I shall now take my retirement with pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations, illustrious brother Ryan, and we appreciate your remarks. Thank you very much. Now, for the last time, as the presiding most wise master of Mount Olivet chapter of Rosecroy, illustrious Eugene Blake Nichols, 33rd degree. Illustrious brother Nichols.
Well, thank you, illustrious deputy. It's great to be coming to you direct from Gothic Hall here in Grand Lodge. It's a little not as crowded as usual, but it's great to be with everybody. I just wanted to say what a privilege and honor it's been for me to have been asked to become involved in Mount Olivet chapter of Rosecroy many years ago by illustrious brother Bill Manchester. And then, of course, to have been asked to go into line and to work as the officers in Mount Olivet chapter. It's been one of the most enjoyable experiences of my life, and that is in thanks to the past most wise master who have given me great advice, counsel, and have been wonderful mentors to me through the years. Thanks to the officers in Mount Olivet chapter, and if it wasn't for the brethren in the Valley of Boston, that makes the whole package complete. And we couldn't do it without the work and all of the brethren behind the scenes. And speaking of which, behind the scenes, you have no idea how much work goes into being a presiding officer in the Valley of Boston. It's meetings after meetings and trying to put on programs for all of the brethren in the Valley. And hopefully we've done a good job with that. And I know with the works of our other presiding officers that I've had the pleasure to deal with, I hope that you've all enjoyed what the Valley has put together. And what goes hand in hand with that is all the committees, the chairman of the committees who do work for membership, for family life, and for the numerous hours they put into putting together programs, that are beneficial as far as membership goes, and beneficial and enjoyment to ourselves and to our families and to our brethren. Many thanks also to Ethan Gilson, Ronnie Brousseau, Larry Lowe, and all the production team that worked so hard to help us to put on professional degrees in the Valley of Boston, which is second to none. And if it wasn't for their expertise, we wouldn't have the position that we have in around the Northern Masonic jurisdiction. And of course, probably the biggest thank you I can give is to Brother Ken Scott, Brother Paul Ralston, Brother Will Blake, David Abbott before him, and Bob Doherty for all the work they do behind the scenes. I mean, we throw a lot of things at the office, and somehow they're able to manage to make it come out looking beautiful. And we couldn't do our work without the support of the office staff. And it's been a real pleasure to work with Ken especially. So I thank you for all your support, Ken. I want to wish my old friend and brother, Paul Perkins, over 40 years now, the very best as he becomes Most Wise Master in Mount Olivet chapter. It's going to be a real joy to see you taking over the helm, and looking forward to your administration working with you and your officers in the years to come. He has been a great mentor, and he'll be a great leader in the Valley of Boston. Finally, I have to thank my wife, Susan, for all the work that she put in behind the scenes, putting together all the programs that our brethren have enjoyed, and hopefully they have enjoyed, and hopefully we've left our Mount Olivet chapter and the Valley of Boston a little bit better than when we started. Looking forward to moving on to the next chapter in history with Mount Olivet chapter and the Valley of Boston, with faith in God's plan for mankind, with hope for better days to come, and through love will be a most blessed fraternity. So thank you, brethren, for everything. God bless you all, and look forward to being on the sidelines, watching all the great work that you're all going to continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Nichols, and congratulations on a wonderful term, and look forward to continuing to work and travel with you in our future endeavors. Thank you so much. Brethren and ladies, this is one of the most important and meaningful ceremonies we perform during the entire year. We install into office today those who have been selected to furnish the leadership of this Valley of Scottish Rite. We have every confidence that these brethren appreciate their responsibility, so we enter into this new administration fully convinced that they are ready to assume their duties. Today, we commit them to dedicated and devoted service to our membership and to all humanity. I will announce the names of all the elected and appointed officers, specifying their official titles, and I will ask the incoming heads of the bodies to present themselves symbolically in due form at the altar of consecration. The elected heads of the bodies: Thrice Potent Master of Boston Lafayette Lodge of Perfection, Brother Lawrence Edward Piper, 32nd degree. The Sovereign Prince of Giles Fonda Yates Council, Princes of Jerusalem, Brother Richard John Duhane, 32nd degree. Most Wise Master of Mount Olivet Chapter of Rose Croix, Brother Paul Richard Perkins, 32nd degree. The following elected and appointed officers for Boston Lafayette Lodge of Perfection: Brother Peter C. Grimm, 32nd degree, MSA, Deputy Master. Brother Joseph C. D. Nicola, 32nd degree, Senior Warden. Brother Gregory A. Goyette, 32nd degree, Junior Warden. Brother Anastasios N. Miliotis, 32nd degree, Captain of the Guard. Brother Lawrence R. Plavnik, 32nd degree, Hospitaller. Brother James M. Tyak, 32nd degree, Master of Ceremonies. For Giles Fonda Yates Council, Princes of Jerusalem, Brother Richard B. Taylor, 32nd degree High Priest. Brother James N. Orgettis, 32nd degree Senior Warden. Brother Lester A. Davis, 32nd degree Junior Warden. Brother Andrew C. Duhane, 32nd degree Captain of the Guard. Brother Kyle W. Austin, 32nd degree Master of Entrances. And for Mount Olivet, Chapter of Rosecroy, Illustrious David P. Dill, 33rd degree, Senior Warden. Brother David A. Blake, 32nd degree, Junior Warden. Brother Michael R. DeRocha, 32nd degree, Orator. Brother Alfredo J. R. Canute, 32nd degree, Master of Ceremonies. Brother Terry W. Griffith Jr., 32nd degree, Captain of the Guard. Brother Brian J. Hughes, 32nd degree, Lieutenant of the Guard. And elected as Secretary for all three bodies, Illustrious Kenneth John Scott, 33rd degree. Brethren, during the obligation, the offices will remain silent, except for the three presiding officers, who will say aye, pronounce your name in full, and repeat after me. Aye.
Aye.
I, Richard John
Paul
Dwyer,
Richard Perkins.
Lawrence E. Piper Jr.
Do hereby swear
do
Do
hereby
hereby
swear
true allegiance and fealty
true
True
allegiance
allegiance and fealty
to the Supreme Council
to
to the
the
Supreme Council
of Sovereign Grand Inspectors General
of
of
sovereign
Sovereign Grand Inspectors General
of the 33rd and last degree
of the
of the
33rd and last degree
of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry,
of the
the
ancient
ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry
for the Northern Masonic jurisdiction
for the
Northern
northern
Masonic
jurisdiction
jurisdiction
of the United States of America,
of the
of
United
the United
States,
States of
of
America,
America,
sitting at its Grand East
sitting
sitting at its Grand East
in the town of Lexington, Massachusetts,
in the
in
town
the
of
town of Lexington, Massachusetts,
of which the illustrious brother,
of which
of which the illustrious brother
David Allen Glatley, 33rd degree,
David Allen Glatley,
33rd
33rd degree,
is Sovereign Grand Commander
is
is
sovereign
Sovereign
grand
Grand
command
Commander,
and will support its constitutions,
and will
will
support
support its Constitution,
statutes,
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 orders, and decrees.
orders,
and decrees.
I will seek diligently to acquire
I
I
will
will seek diligently to acquire
a due knowledge of the rituals,
of
due
due
knowledge of the rituals,
usages,
usages,
and administrative procedures
and
and
administration
administrative procedures
of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite
of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite
in this jurisdiction,
in this
in this
jurisdiction,
and especially to comply
and
especially
especially
to comply
with the duties of my office.
with the
with the
duties
duties
of
of
my
my
office.
office.
I will strive earnestly to promote
I will
I will strive earnestly to promote
the welfare of my brethren
the
the
welfare
welfare of my brethren
and of our right,
and
and of our right,
and to maintain peace and harmony
and to
and to maintain peace and harmony
in a spirit of courtesy
in
in
the
a
spirit
spirit of courtesy
and fraternal cooperation.
of
and fraternal cooperation.
And may God aid me
and may
May
God
God
aid
aid me
to keep and perform this,
to
to
keep
and perform this
my solemn vow of office.
my
solemn
solemn
vow
vow
of
of
office.
Amen.
Amen.
The officers and members of this valley should realize that these presiding officers carry an unusually heavy load of duties and responsibilities. They look to you for loyal cooperation and will welcome your constructive suggestions. The primary duty of the elected and appointed officers is to assist the presiding officers with their counsel and aid them in maintaining the honor, dignity, and efficiency of the rite. Brethren, please be at ease. It now is my duty to require the assent of the heads of the bodies to the charges of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite. You agree not to engage in any plot or conspiracy against the civil government, to obey the laws of your country, to submit peacefully to the will of the majority, to avoid disputes and quarrels, to be impartial, upright, and modest, to refrain from all intemperance and excess, to be faithful to your brethren and courteous to all men. You promise to exercise hospitality, to receive all duly accredited visitors, to reject impostors, and to rebuke those who would seek to disturb our peace and harmony. You promise to guard zealously the charter of the body over which you are called to preside, and to permit no one to receive any degree of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite unless he be a Master Mason in good standing and qualified in accordance with the constitutions and regulations of the Supreme Council. These are the charges of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite. Do you submit to and promise to observe them, God being your helper?
I do.
Do.
My brothers, your assent to these charges justifies the confidence which your brethren have reposed in you. You have not advanced to the rank which you have obtained in the Rite without full knowledge of the duty that devolves upon your position and of the serious responsibility which you incur. The honor, reputation, and usefulness of Scottish Rite Masonry will chiefly depend upon the mode and manner in which you discharge your duty. You are to arouse the indolent, encourage the despondent, inspire the unreflecting to do something, the influence whereof shall be felt beyond the limits of the lodge. Something for society, something for humanity. Admonish the brethren of the duty that rests upon them to act and behave, so they may bring no discredit or reproach upon themselves or the Rite. Charge them to practice out of the lodge room the duties taught in it, and by their frankness, equity, and profound regard for truth and honor, to convince all who know them of the excellencies of Masonic principles. Your office is not only one of honor, but of labor and responsibility. Your first duty as a presiding officer is always to show impartiality. Your second duty is to maintain that equality among your brethren which should always exist among Masons. Wealth, rank, or social position should never distinguish one Mason from another. Every brother of the Rite is your peer and is entitled to equal consideration. The possession of a title indicates no superiority unless accompanied by superior knowledge and greater capacity for doing good. Only that which one learns and does in Masonry makes him superior to his brethren, and that superiority can be one of intellect and moral character only. May these organizations under your care prosper, and their names be ever honored among Masons. I now symbolically present you the gavel, emblem of Masonic authority, which you are to exercise with impartiality. As Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anointed Solomon king over Israel, so I now symbolically anoint and install you, Lawrence Edward Piper, as thrice potent master of Boston Lafayette Lodge of Perfection, Richard John Duhane as sovereign prince of Giles Fonda Yates Council, Princes of Jerusalem, and Paul Richard Perkins as most wise master of Mount Olivet chapter of Rose-Croix. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head. Ointment and perfume rejoiceth the heart, so doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Let him reprove me, it shall be as oil upon the head. Let my head not refuse it. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. My brothers, you will now rightfully assume your office as the presiding officer of the Scottish Rite body for which you have been selected. All remaining officers would please pay heed to the charge of your office. My brothers, you have been selected for the important office in the Scottish Rite body which you represent. When the presiding officer is present, you are to assist him with your counsel and labor. In his absence, you are to aid in assuming his duties according to the rank of the office which you hold. You are equally bound by all pledges and promises made by your presiding officer on this occasion, and you will consider all that has been said as addressed equally to you. Your acquaintance with the traditions and history, symbols, and philosophy of the rite should be as extensive as his. Therefore, you should prepare yourselves and be ready when called to the performance of any duty. Your regular and punctual attendance is required, and it is expected that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office to the extent of your ability and devotion. Thank you for your attention. Be at ease. Brethren, I have a proclamation. To the glory of the grand architect of the universe, in the name and under the auspices of the Supreme Council of Sovereign Grand Inspectors General of the 33rd and last degree of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry for the Northern Masonic jurisdiction of the United States of America, and by virtue of the authority upon me conferred, I declare and proclaim these elected and appointed officers duly installed and authorized to enter upon the discharge of their duties. Take due notice and govern yourselves accordingly. Brethren, ladies and guests, this concludes the ceremonial portion of our installation today. We have several brothers who I will call on to address the Valley. And as you see today, we've only installed 3 of the 4 bodies in the Valley of Boston. According to Supreme Council constitutions, consistories are elected and serve for 3 years. Therefore, we only install them once every 3rd year, and that will occur next year in the spring of 2021. So to start off, we are very pleased to have with us the Commander-in-Chief of Massachusetts Consistory, and I will call on him at this time for his remarks, illustrious Eugene Anthony Capobianco, 33rd degree. Illustrious Brother Capobianco, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Don. Great information. I'd like to start off by saying good afternoon to the Sublime Princes that have logged on, ladies and distinguished guests. I'd like to congratulate the newly installed officers of the Valley of Boston. I look forward to working with each of you throughout these trying times and hopefully a much brighter future. The Valley of Boston will definitely prosper through your leadership. I would like to congratulate Austin Ryan and Eugene Nichols for a job well done. It was a pleasure working with both of you over these past 2 years. The Valley of Boston accomplished many great monumental strides and improvements, including membership under your exemplar leadership. To all the members and brothers, ladies and guests, please stay safe, be smart, and keep healthy. Thank you very much. Enjoy your afternoon. Thank you, illustrious Don.
Thank you, Commander-in-Chief. We appreciate you being with us today. Now, for the first time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the thrice potent master of Boston Lafayette Lodge of Perfection, Brother Lawrence Edward Piper, 32nd degree. Thrice potent master.
Most worshipful brethren, ladies, I'd like to welcome you to this witnesses presentation. As you know, I like doing things differently. I think you'll agree that this is an historical time. Thanks to the body for trusting me this great honor. Thank you, Don, for a great presentation, and to Peter Grimm for making it possible to air this program. I'd like to congratulate Paul and Rich. I'm looking forward to working with you and with Cappy in moving this organization forward. If there's anything I can help you with, please call. I'm also looking forward to working with our office staff, Ken, Paul, and Will. I'd also like to shout out to my daughters and my son-in-laws, my two daughters, Kira and her husband, Mike, and their children, Gideon and Julia. I'm getting a little kickback from my wife next door here. And my other daughter, Vanessa, I know that they're both watching, and her husband, Kevin, and Rhodes and Violet, their children. My son and my brother, Matthew, wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. I'm here today because of the great and important, of the great guidance that I've received from people in the Blue Lodge that I started with and the past leaders of Scottish Rite. I really owe a lot to each of them. I've been very fortunate to have worked with the great teams in coming up through Scottish Rite, and I appreciate them and thank them. And last but not least, to my wife, Elise, who supported me in everything that I do. 32 years plus of scouting and almost 30 years of masonry. I really appreciate everything she does. She does a tremendous amount. Traditionally, we offer or present a bouquet of flowers to the lady of the incoming thrice potent master. And I certainly will do that at a later date. But thanks again. Thank you, and stay healthy and safe.
Thank you, Thrice Potent Master. Now for the third time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Sovereign Prince of Giles Fonda Yates Council, Princess of Jerusalem, Brother Richard John Duhane, 32nd degree.
Thank you, illustrious. I'd first like to thank the Brethren of the Valley of Boston for their continued support. It's great through these trying times. I appreciate it very much. Congratulations to Brother Lonnie and Brother Paul. It's going to be great working with you two guys. It's always great to be the newbie too, so it's nice. I can't wait, and we're going to hit the ground running. To the outgoing heads, Brother Austin and Gene, it's certainly been a challenge working with you guys. It's been great. It's been great. I appreciate your support and working with you, and it's strengthening our friendships that we have continued in our Masonic career. Good luck in your retirement. And I would also, at this time, thank my lovely wife, Joyce, who's been behind me all the way. And she steers me where she wants to steer me. And I, as a good guy, I go that way. I appreciate her being with me. Thank you all. I'm looking forward to working with everybody, the office staff, and immensely all the guys that are involved with Valley of Boston. Illustrious, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sovereign Prince. And now, for the first time, the newly installed Most Wise Master of Mount Olivet Chapter of Rosecroy, Brother Paul Richard Perkins, 32nd degree. Most Wise Master.
Thank you, illustrious. It's a real pleasure and honor to be with all of you today. This is very unusual for all of us. I'd like to start by thanking my family, my lovely wife, Tracy. This is being recorded, by the way, Tracy, so just so you know. She actually gave me a haircut today, so looks pretty good, right?
Not bad.
She's been through all of this with me. We've been through Master of my Lodge and all of the DeMolay things and all of the Scottish Rite, all the years. She's been a wonderful support to me, and I can't thank her enough. And my two daughters, Amanda and Bailey, they are amazing support as well, always willing to go to whatever function they're invited to, and really appreciate them as well. I'd like to also thank the past Most Wise Masters for their confidence in me many years ago by asking me to go in line, and really looking forward to the challenge. And on behalf of the chapter, I would like to thank Gene Nichols for an amazing 3 years. And Gene, as close as we've been all these years, being state officers in DeMolay together, and the friendship that we've shared all these many years, we have grown so close over these last 3 years. And thank you and Susan for everything, for all your hospitality, for all your guidance. And it's been a real privilege to serve with you and work with you all these years.
All the best, Paul.
And Austin, thank you for all that you have done as well for the Valley. We've known each other quite a long time as well, and the leadership and guidance served the Valley well. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Paul. I'm sure you'll do a great job.
Thank you. I'd also like to congratulate all the other officers of Mount Olivet chapter, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I can't wait for our first event. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure all of us are kind of figuring out how we get back to the fun and the fellowship and the fraternity. And it's going to be very exciting when we can all meet once again. And I'd also like to thank my lodge. Wyoming Lodge has a steep tradition in the Valley of Boston. We have about 100 members of the lodge that are members of the Valley. I'm the 4th past master to serve as Most Wise Master, and the 8th to serve as a head of body for the Valley of Boston. And looking forward to representing them as well. I too would like to thank the office staff. Ken in particular. Ken, I'm sure you're feeling a little strange today. I was in high school when we met, and many, many years, my friend. And I'm looking forward to working with you and the entire office team. And I'm just so thrilled that you're the secretary and that you really help us all run the Valley. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Most Wise Master.
And I would also like to congratulate Lonnie and Rich. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to working with both of you and with you two as well, Cappy. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and certainly some work, but definitely a lot of fun. With that, I would like to turn it back to you, illustrious Brother Moran. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Most Wise Master. This has indeed been an honor and a privilege for me to be able to participate in this installation here today. I wish we could have done it in person, but it's very special for me to see my friends and brothers that I have known for so many years work their way up and achieve great, great things in the Scottish Rite and in the Masonic fraternity. And so congratulations to all of our newly installed heads of the bodies and to all of the elected and appointed officers in the Valley of Boston. I know most of you very, very well, and I consider all of you my good friends. And I look forward to working with you as we go forward when we get back to normal. One quick thing for our illustrious brother secretary, Ken, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be carpooling back into Grand Lodge with you on a daily basis when that day ever comes. I miss the chats. So brethren, that is the conclusion of the installation. And at this point, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you the 3rd ranking Mason in the world and the 1st in the Western Hemisphere, the most worshipful Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts, most worshipful, Richard Maggio, Grand Master.
Thank you, Brother Moran. Good afternoon, brethren, ladies, and guests. Well, that was interesting. Illustrious Brother Moran, job well done.
Thank you very much.
That was the best Zoom installation I have ever witnessed. The fact is, it's the only Zoom installation I have ever witnessed. However, that's not relevant. Brother Moran, you did an outstanding job. And kudos to Brother Grimm and Brother Dill behind the scenes who kept this whole thing running with all of us old timers that are having trouble with that technology. I offer my sincerest congratulations to all the outgoing officers. Job well done. And my congratulations to the newly installed officers. I look so forward to working with all of you during the terms of your office. I am so very appreciative of the relationship Grand Lodge has with the Valley of Boston, as well as the Northern jurisdiction. We have formed great partnerships around our membership initiatives and continue most recently with the Be a Free Mason campaign. We continually work together with the Almoners Fund and the Brotherhood Fund. Both are especially important during these difficult times. I'm so honored and proud to serve the craft at this difficult time. I recently put forth a call for PPE, personal protective equipment, for our Overlook campus in Charlton. The response was outstanding. The generosity of all the bodies of the Valley was and continues to be a savior for us in Charlton, as well as a beacon of light in the craft. And I'm happy to report that they are still COVID-free in no presumptive cases. The Valley of Boston is truly a model for Scottish Rite Masonry. I thank you all. I am so proud and so honored to call all of you my brother. Moving forward, we at Grand Lodge plan to follow the orders of the governor and create special protocols for each phase of our return to normal. However, I truly believe the new normal will be better than the old normal, as we all will have a greater appreciation for that which we previously took for granted. I wish you all the best in the coming year, and I look forward to a pleasant and productive relationship as we continue to promote the craft and live our Masonic lives. God bless you, our essential workers, our veterans, active military, and God bless America. Thank you, and stay safe. Brother Moran, would you give us a benediction, please?
I will gladly do that. I thank everyone for their participation today. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Thank you all for joining us today. And with that, by the power vested in me, I now close the annual installation of the Valley of Boston offices in ample form. Thank you.
Thank you, Grandmaster.